This week in the Herald, honouring wartime heroine Sybil Kathigasu, celebrating the feast of St. Anne, discovering Franciscan spirituality, a personal journey with Father Simon Labrooy, and the stunning new murals at St. John's Cathedral in Kuala Lumpur. Hello and welcome to another episode of HERALD Snapshot, your quick dive into this week's most inspiring stories. On our front page, we remember a true wartime heroine, Sybil Kathigasu. On July 29th, at St Michael's Parish Hall in Ipoh, Kenangan Luka, the Malay translation of Sybil's memoir No Dram of Mercy, was launched. This extraordinary story of courage and unwavering faith has already reached readers worldwide, with translations in Mandarin, Japanese and French, a growing testament to Sybil's enduring legacy. Cardinal St Francis called her a woman of deep conviction, whose fearless witness to faith still speaks to hearts today. The full report in this week's Herald. Across the nation, the Feast of St. Anne once again became a powerful testament to hope, faith and the enduring legacy of the beloved Saints Joachim and Anne. The 41st annual Feast of St. Anne in the Chapel of St. Anne in Pamol Estate Johor brought together large numbers of the faithful, uniting the community in heartfelt prayer and joyful fellowship. The celebration reached its peak on July 26th, the Feast of Saints Anne and Joachim, with around 800 faithful gathering for the evening Mass and a tent set up to accommodate the crowd. The theme, inspired by Romans 5:5, Hope does not disappoint, set the tone for a night of faith and unity. In Alor Gajah Melaka, the Chapel of St. Anne marked the feast with 8 days of prayer, reflection and fellowship from July 20th to 27th. This year's theme, Hope-Filled Pilgrims, drew hundreds of predominantly Tamil-speaking parishioners. During his homily, Bishop Bernard Paul called on the faithful to embrace their call as pilgrims of hope, taking inspiration from the steadfast faith and mission of Saints Joachim and Anne. Meanwhile, at the minor Basilica of St. Anne in Bukit Mertajam, the annual feast drew approximately 100,000 pilgrims over 10 days of celebration. The atmosphere was filled with prayer, devotion and gratitude, leaving pilgrims spiritually renewed. The highlight of this year's feast was the newly designed float of St. Anne, modelled after the iconic shrine itself, which led a breathtaking 2-kilometre candlelight procession that lit up the night with faith and reverence. Recently, Friar Marvin Voo OFM led parishioners of the Church of the Risen Christ in Penang in a spiritual and ecological reflection of St Francis Canticle of the Creatures. Delivered in both Bahasa Malaysia and English, the talks invited participants to rediscover this timeless cornerstone of Franciscan spirituality. Friar Marvin's sharing followed his recent participation in an international gathering in Rome, which highlighted the enduring global relevance of the Canticle's message. This week, we sit down with Father Simon Labrooy, former rector of College General and now the Vocation Director for the Archdiocese of Kuala Lumpur. With years of experience shaping future priests, he shares candid insights on the challenges, hopes and journey of vocations in today's church. And in our inspirational segment, Agnes Ong visits the Cathedral of St. John in Kuala Lumpur to speak with Father Gerard Teravian and the group of art students behind the latest murals, one in the cathedral's parking lot and two at the newly built community centre, the Magnificat. What caught our attention, most of the art students were not Christians. All this and more in this week's issue. Be sure to get your copy at your parish this weekend.